Oh hey guys, CPT Mechanic here, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the fuel filter on a Ford Bantam Rocam 1.6 petrol model. Let's get cracking! So the purpose of a fuel filter is to filter out and stop contaminants such as debris, dirt and corrosion from entering the fuel system and engine. The common signs of a clogged fuel filter include poor acceleration, engine misfires, decreased efficiency and stalling or idling problems. So if you have one of these issues on your vehicle, it's best to replace your fuel filter. Okay, so let's start off by removing the fuse panel on the dash and let's look for the 10 amp number 4 fuse. This is for the fuel pump, and so let's just pop it out of the fuse panel. Let's give the engine like a couple of cranks. So it starts and then dies immediately. Let's crank it again and then it doesn't start. So this is just to drain the line and get all the residual pressure out of the fuel lines. Cool, so let's start off by chocking the front wheel to stop the bucky from moving. And let's go under the backside of the bucky. So let's pop a bottle jack on the axle or under the axle to jack up the bucky. So I prefer this way to jack up the bucky as one unit instead of putting the jack on either side. And there's the axle stand going on the axle or underneath the axle to hold it up. And let's lower the bucky down onto the axle stands. And it's time to take out the bottle jack. I love this device, it's so easy to use. So let's pop the cardboard and a bucket underneath to catch any residual fuel. And there is the fuel filter. Let's start by popping off the outlet line. There are just clips on the side of the hose. There will be some residual fuel coming out, but most of it has been drained by cranking the bucky. So that's the outlet line off. And let's pop off the inlet line or supply line. Just two clips on either side. And let's unscrew the fuel filter from the bracket. And there are these two caps supplied with the new fuel filter to block off any fuel that might come out of the old filter. So let's put it on the outlet line and one on the inlet line. Might as well use them, it came with the kit. Cool, so let's take the filter out. Easier to rotate it, and this filter has a direction of flow. You'll see from the outlet, from the inlet through the filter and to the outlet. Very nice feature to have on the filter, just so you don't confuse which way the fuel supply is. Okay, so let's check out the fuel quality. And guys, if you're enjoying these videos, please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share if you want to see more repair videos in future. Thanks a lot for watching. So let's check out the fuel quality, and you can see there's lots of black sediment and particles in the old fuel that was drained out. You don't want that in your engine bay. This is the fuel filter doing its job and doing its job well. Okay, so let's check the old and new one side by side. The old one is a Gud and the new one is a Champion. And for these Rocam models, it's recommended to change the filter every 30 to 45,000 Ks. Some people do change them every 60,000 Ks at the stretch, but that's all dependent on the manufacturer's spec. So on this Champion filter, it does not have a direction of flow, unfortunately, but luckily we have the old filter as a benchmark, so we know the direction of flow to follow. And very important to check them side by side if they are the same. If they're not the same, it will not fit on your system. Always take a spare or take a sample with the shop if you do buy one. Okay, so let's put the new filter in the holder. Locking it tight with a bracket, screwing it on. And let's put the outlet line, let's clip it back into the new filter, giving it a couple of tugs, make sure it's tight and secure. And the inlet line as well onto the filter. Also a couple of tugs, looks pretty snug, looks tight. And it's very good practice to write on the filter the mileage that the filter was replaced. So this is at 167,000 kilometers. So for any mechanic or next person that knows it's been replaced at that mileage. Okay, so let's pop the fuel pump fuse back in, the 10 amp fuse. So normally you cycle the key of a vehicle a couple of times. This will prime the fuel pump. But on these Rocams, I believe the fuel pump is only activated once the bucky cranks. So I've given it a couple of turns, but it doesn't sound like anything's happening. You should hear the fuel pump prime by cycling it, but nothing's happening. And this is proof that the fuel pump doesn't prime that way. So let's crank the vehicle. Line should have been pressurized by now. But this first crank is pressurizing it. Give it another start, and there we go. Bucky starts well. Idling nicely. Everything seems good on the surface. A couple of revs. All seems well. Okay, let's check underneath the fuel filter. Let's look for any leaks. Nothing on the outlet side. And nothing on the inlet side as well. Everything looks dry. Everything looks good. Cool, all is well. Thanks a lot guys for watching. Cheers, and until next video.